Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, I would like to move to finally resolve the issue on the minority leadership, that we close the period of interpellation as regards the speech, privileged speech of the Honorable Miro Kimbo, and proceed to dividing the House on the objection of the Majority Leader and recognizing Congressman Danilo Suarez as the Minority Leader.
Any objection?
Mr.
The
Speaker.
chair hears none. The
Mr.
motion is
Speaker.
approved.
We now proceed
Objection, Mr. Speaker.
to the voting, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The
Objection.
chair hears none.
Objection,
The motion is
objection,
approved.
objection. Does not the chair hear that there is objection to the motion?
Mr. Speaker, we
Objection.
are in the process of voting, and we cannot be, there can be no disturbance in that process. So we may ask that the Speaker proceed with the ayes and nays on the issue at hand.
I
Those who
concur.
are in
I
favor-
concur with the majority leader. There should be.
Please
For
proceed.
Yes, it is.
Congressman Suarez to be recognized as as minority leader, say aye. Those who are against, say nay. The ayes have it.
We have 1 minute suspension, Mr. Speaker.
The session suspended. Session is resumed.
Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, I would like to recognize Attorney Eusebio Lee, Mr. Rock Rubio, and Mr. Jenny Tan, guests of Congressman Manuel Sagarbarria. Speaker.
The guests of Congressman Segalbaria, please rise.
Mr. Speaker, Mr.
Welcome
Speaker,
to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
I move we recognize Congressman Rodolfo Fariñas.
The distinguished Congressman from Ilocos Norte, Congressman Rudy Fariñas, is recognized.
thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We just voted on a motion of the Majority Leader by ayes and nays. May I know how my vote was recorded, Mr. Speaker?
The vote was simply viva voce.
So how was my vote? Because we did not have a division of the House, viva voce. So may I state, Mr. Speaker, that I am against. My vote is against because I maintain that the Honorable Danny Suarez, so I just congratulated for any reason whatsoever, but I am against the position that he is the minority leader. So may it be recorded that I voted against the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The manifestation of the distinguished Congressman from Ilocos Norte, Congressman Fariñas, is noted.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker.
Let me recognize now Congressman Edsel Lagman, please.
the distinguished gentleman from Albay, Congressman Edsel Lagman, is hereby recognized.
likewise, Mr. Speaker, may I know how my vote was recorded?
The vote was viva voce.
Well, if there was a recording of votes, my vote should have been an abstention. Because the recognition of the minority leader is not subject to the approval or disapproval of the plenary. It is composed overwhelmingly of majority members, of minority members, and independents. Under our rules, the majority leader should be voted upon by members of the minority, and the majority leader likewise should be voted upon by members of the majority. It is never subject to the approval or disapproval of the plenary, which is a mixed composition. What we have done was a violation of the rules, Mr. Speaker. I would like to put that on record.
Does the Majority Leader desires to react on the statement of Congressman Lagman?
Negative, Mr. Speaker, and at this point in time, I would like to recognize Congressman Kimbo, Mr. Speaker.
The manifestation of Congressman Lagman is noted. Congressman Kimbo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader.
while the motion earlier had already been acted upon and the very reason stated by Congressman Edsel Lagman, this representation would like to put on record our continuing objection to the recognition of Congressman Danilo Suarez as the minority leader for simply being illegal, not in due course, and at the same time in direct violation of the Supreme Court decision enunciated on the 25th of July 2017 of the case of Bagilat versus Alvarez. I so make this continuing objection, and that this cloud hanging over all proceedings of the House will continue, and that we will take the necessary recourse where it is needed so as to bring order to this House. We are the same in wanting that everything that we do here is devoid of any legal question. What we witnessed today not only created a legal question, but in fact cemented it. It is regrettable, and let our continuing objection be put on record. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, may I...
Will
Mr.
the
Speaker,
Majority Leader react to the statement of Congressman Kimbo?
Yes, my reaction is we now recognize Congressman Erice for his manifestation.
Congressman Erice is recognized, but before that, the statement of Congressman Kimbo is noted. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, may I speak on a matter of personal and collective privilege? Because I'm supposed to be the last interpellator. I was asked yesterday to postpone my interpellation until today, but unfortunately the period of interpellation was closed, so may I now ask the favor to deliver a personal and collective privilege.
Mr. Speaker,
What's the pleasure of the Majority Leader?
before the gentleman, Congressman Erice, delivers his privilege speech, may we allow other members who wish to make a manifestation as regards the votation? For if we digress now to his privilege speech, all other members will be prevented from raising the point or the issue which has just the recently concluded
Any objection?
election.
The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
So may we ask now Congressman De Vera be recognized.
Mr. Speaker, may I be recognized? Mr. Speaker, may I proceed?
Congressman De Vera is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. I object to the election or the recognition of the Honorable Danny Suarez as the Minority Leader. Your Honor, the preamble of our rules is very clear. It is said there in the last sentence that we would faithfully obey these rules. Do you think by having recognized the Honorable Suarez as the Minority Leader, we have faithfully obeyed the rules? My answer is in the negative, Your Honors, Mr. Speaker, because by looking plainly and simple on the Section 8 under the Rule 2 of our rules, it is very clear that it governs membership. And you look at Section 3 of our rules, it's very clear that it governs the officers, or how would we deal with the officers of the House of Representatives. Your Honors, it is with sad heart that I have to disagree, because the Honorable Suarez is a very good leader during my stint in the House as a member of the minority group under his leadership. But again, rules are rules. And under the preamble, we, the members of the House of Representatives, undertake to faithfully abide or obey with our rules, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I respectfully manifest and politely address this august body that I really object to the recognition of the Honorable Danny Suarez as our minority leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority.
Majority Leader,
Now, I move to recognize Congressman Bordado. Mr.
before I recognize Congressman Bordado, the Chair directs that the statement of Congressman De Vera be noted. Congressman Bordado, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I object to the recognition of Congressman Suarez as the minority leader. Mr. Speaker, for the past 5 days or so, I have been listening intently to the steady and at times torrid exchange of erudite ideas on who should be the legitimate minority in the House. Still, Mr. Speaker, the position taken by the highly articulate and intelligent representative from Marikina City, the Honorable Mero Kimbo, stands out for its sheer logic and lucidity. Mr. Speaker, let me reiterate a portion of what the Honorable Kimbo said, and I quote, "We make reference to Rule 2, Section 8 of the Rules of the House of Representatives and the Supreme Court Decision GR number 227757, promulgated on July 25, 2017, which states that A, all those who vote for the winning speaker shall belong to the majority, and those who vote for other candidates shall belong to the minority. B, those who abstain from voting shall likewise be considered part of the minority. And C, the minority leader shall be elected by the members of the minority." Unquote. Mr. Speaker, no amount of Olympic record-setting verbal gymnastics can obliterate this very clear pronouncement, not just from Honorable Kimbo, but also from the Supreme Court itself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The manifestation of Congressman Bordado is noted. Majority Leader.
Yes, before we recognize the last to raise his manifestation, Congressman Casilaw, may we ask that we recognize for 30 seconds, once again, Congressman De Vera.
Congressman De Vera is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. Just for a 30-second statement, Your Honor, I would like just to manifest before this august body that on August 2, in the morning, in my office, I was elected as the Minority Leader of the House of Representatives by my following members, and unanimously, Mr. Speaker, Majority Leader, by the following members: Congressman Bebot Alvarez, Congressman Rodolfo Fariñas, Congressman Albano, Congressman Lucy Torres Gomez, Congressman Arnel T., Congressman Rimpi Bondo, Congressman Eileen Radasa, Congressman Ray Umali, Congressman Roger Mercado, Congressman Monusur del Rosario, Congressman June Papandayan, and Congressman Ruel Gonzaga. Mr. Speaker, Majority Leader, I just wanted to enter into records of this eventuality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader.
As prayed for by Congressman De Vera, his manifestation is noted.
We now recognize Congressman Casilaw for his manifestation. Mr. Speaker.
Congressman Casilaw is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let it be put in record, since the votation on the motion was made through by a viva voce, be it recorded that the vote of Makabayan, the 7 of us in behalf of Makabayan, not only this representation, is on the negative side. This is the first time in the history of Congress that the plenary, all members, if not all, majority of the present members decided who is the minority leader. Ito po ay salungat sa binuo nating rules. inaprubahan natin nung unang Monday ng July of 2016. This is not the rules, the intention, and the interpretation of the rules. Mr. Speaker, tila baga, patunay ito na ginagamit na ninyo ng mayoryang ito ang tiraniya ng numero kahit na baluktutin at baluktot ang resulta nito sa ating rules. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The manifestation of Congressman Villarin is noted. Majority Leader.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, we'd like to recognize Congressman Erice.
The distinguished Congressman from Caloocan, Congressman Erice, is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader, distinguished colleagues. I was supposed to interpellate the Senior Deputy Majority Leader yesterday, but I was asked to postpone it until today. However, may I ask the Speaker that I be allowed to deliver a personal and collective privilege regarding the minority leadership issue.
Congressman Erice is recognized to deliver a personal and collective privilege speech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, on the personal and collective privilege delivered by the Senior Deputy Minority Leader, he explained that he is very much concerned about media reports, which affects the integrity and credibility of this honorable chamber as far as the minority leadership dispute is concerned. I'd like to assure not just our Senior Deputy Majority Leader, but the rest of our colleagues, that I share the same concern as we are all in the same house. Whether in the majority or in the opposition or minority, it is very important that we value the image, the credibility, and the integrity of the House of Representatives. Today, I will not belabor you with questions and explanations and clarifications regarding our House rules. As yesterday, our brilliant colleagues have already explained several rules in our House rules pertaining majority and minority membership and leadership. I also believe that the House rules is not so indispensable, as it is just our creation to help us conduct our business orderly. But in the case of conflict, what is most important is we do our job of coming up with legislation that will help our people and progress our beloved country. For a legislation to be qualitative, a dedicated, credible, and responsible opposition or minority is necessary. And the primary task and responsibility of the minority or the opposition is to provide a no-nonsense and credible check and balance. We can only protect the image of this House if we can maintain a credible minority and a proactive majority. Our rules can be changed or relaxed anytime if necessary, but quality legislation is essential to maintain the integrity of this House. So, Mr. Speaker, check and balance is an integral part of legislation. And I would like to quote, gusto ko pong basahin ang isang talata na binanggit ng isang pong hinahangaan kong naging Pangulo ng ating bansa, President Diosdado Macapagal. In our action, we should not be guided only by what is legal. We must go beyond legality into the demands of morality. Our acts must not only be legal, but must be moral as well. At this point, my dear colleagues, para po sa inyo, mas malalim nating pagkakaunawa sa moralidad ng ating pinag-uusapan, nais ko pong ipakita sa inyo ang isang maiksing video. Salamat po.
Mr. Speaker, unfortunately,
Majority Leader.
yes, unfortunately, the video to be presented has not cleared the proper procedure, and we cannot show that video at this point in time, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I submitted the video yesterday and I was told that it was approved.
Majority Leader.
It was not submitted to me, Mr. Speaker, and I have not fully reviewed it. And
Okay.
that is the
In view of the
situation. Speaker.
manifestation of the Majority Leader, the video could not be shown today.
Okay, I'll just explain it in my own words.
Proceed, Congressman Erice.
The Honorable Danilo Suarez and I was invited in a program at CNN about a week ago regarding the issue of the minority leadership. He was interviewed first, and I'll just explain to you the portion that I have a video clip. Tinanong po ang ating kagalang-galang na kasamang Danny Suarez. Ang pagkakatanong po sa kanya, how can you claim that you are the minority when you are just 14 while the liberal-led minority group has more than 20? And his reply, there are already 32 members of this House that are applying to be members of the minority. And the question, why is that so? Why not apply to the majority? Why to the minority? And the reply of Congressman Suarez is simple. Because they know that the minority leader is close to the speaker. Yung mismong minority leader ang umamin na kaya maraming gustong sumama sa minority dahil malapit siya sa speaker. How can you expect a minority leader so close to the speaker and deliver check and balance in this House? Bakit hindi sa majority? Mas maraming posisyon sa majority. Andyan na ang napakaraming committee. Ang minority, halos wala. Bakit kailangan? And the reply, again, of Mr. Suarez is simple. Because I want to leave a legacy. I want to retire from this Congress as minority leader. Miss Pinky Webb even replied that, isn't that too personal to be a reason? And Mr. Suarez added, ayokong alisan yung aking opisina kasi ginastusan ko yan. Ang sagot ni Miss Pinky Webb, hindi ba selfish ang ganyang reason? Mr. Speaker, how can we maintain credibility of this House kung ganyan ang mga kadahilanan kung bakit tayo maghahalal ng minority leader. Yan po ang dahilan kung bakit yung majority ngayon inaffirm yung pagkakahalal ng ating minority leader. Subalit, huwag tayong malungkot. Sapagkat kami sa mga tunay na minorya, may posisyon man wala, kahit tanggalin ang mga silya namin dyan, mananatili kaming magpo-provide ng check and balance sa kongresong ito. At we will never be compromised. Ako mismo, naranasan ko yan. At alam nyo yan, wala akong budget ng 2018, pero kaya ako sumama para magkaroon ng pagbabago dito sa mababang kapulungan dahil sa pagtatanggal ng mga budget ng mga congressman na gusto lang magpahayag ng kanilang independence. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, we will remain as minority kahit na wala po kaming mga komite, wala kaming mga pribilehiyo, sapagkat yan po ang aming tungkulin. At palagay ko po, yung ginagawa namin ito ang magbibigay ng kredibilidad, integridad sa mababang kapulungan. Maraming salamat po.